Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun, and I am back with the Aunt Gail Lewis update. Baby, she is spilling the tea, and you can tell she is out of the house, and I think this is a little condo, and she is ready to talk, so let's get into it. So she said she hadn't been here in a while, and of course, she couldn't because of the divorce. You can tell she is no longer in the house. This looks a lot different than before. And she says she's here to help anybody who is going through this or has been through this to help get through this. So she said that Sabrina was really wanting Gail to know that she was there. She would leave like things in the car, like her underwear, barrettes, and things like that. And she was also happy that the cat was out of the bag because now Sabrina felt like she could have him out free and clear. She said that he was paying her mother's way, her way, her boyfriend's way, her kids' way, sending cash apps and everything else. She said all the while she was home, thinking that he was just being a good husband. That is crazy. Child, she talked about in the beginning how he love bombed her, like calling her queen, sending her and her friends on trips, sending her flowers, her mother flowers, Cartier jewelry. She talked about cars on the birthday, LV bags, any time of the week, naming perfume after her, 12 days of Christmas, just all types of things that he would do to cover his path. So she went on to say that if you haven't had anybody to call you a queen or make you feel like that, it's easy to fall for it. She said, but he has many, many more masks to go, and she's going to reveal all of them. She was like, he's like a little puffy, more money, more women. And a lot of men feel like that. The more money you have, the more women or the more things that you can do and get away with. Let's keep going. So, child, we are on part 2, okay? She calls him the stranger in her house. She went on to say that right now she's going to talk about Sabrina, but she's going to tell us about all the other women she found out about. That was shocking. She said that he made her feel worthless and unpretty when she found out about Sabrina, and that was really hard for her. So she went on to say that, you know, she's talking about Sabrina and how she found out about everything. You know, she called to see if he had landed, and it said Mr. and Mrs. Lewis has landed, but Mrs. Lewis was on the phone checking on Mr. Lewis. So she said that after she found out about the Europe trip, that's where he was, the next week, he took Sabrina on an anniversary trip. And then she was like, she realized at that moment, he does not give a you know what about anybody. This is all about him. Because she was like, I cried. Like when she first heard about it, she cried. She said she felt old and, you know, he made her feel so bad. And she said in here, she has a whole bunch of emotions and they're all on fire right now. So then Auntie Gail offered a little advice. She was like, don't ever cheat on a police officer or anybody who can get your information readily. I don't know if she knows somebody. I'm sure she does. But we're going to get into that. But then she said that Sabrina had posted all of the European photos from their anniversary. No, not European photos. The photos from her anniversary trip, right? And Gail had gone under the girl photos and left a comment. She deleted her comment. And Gail was like, why would she delete the comment if there's nothing wrong? But then she said, she started playing with her, and the name of this particular second one is called The Cheaters Have Jokes, or The Cheaters Got Jokes, because Sabrina went and posted a clip from Harlem Nights, the part where old boy called his wife and said he's never coming home because he got sunshine. Okay. So now we're on to part 3. And part 3 is titled, I'm Riding. So she says, Sunshine got jokes, right? So she was like, she wants to make a joke on what is the most horrible, traumatic experience that I could go through. So when he came back from the anniversary trip, her husband didn't even try to come home, right? They talked some kind of way. I can't remember if she called or he called. But he said that he wasn't coming home because he thought she would do something to him. Because the last time they talked, she said her eyes were half closed. She was like, whatever. She was like, I'm not going to jail for you, for my children, and nobody else. It is never that serious. Child, Auntie Gail had enough, right? She told him to come get his stuff. He said he not come getting his stuff because this is his house, right? She was like, but you living in both. Y'all, he moved Sabrina from California to Atlanta. He moved another woman across country to be with him. She was like, but that's not fair. You paying bills over there, you paying bills over here. She was like, just go on and be where you're going to be, where you want to be. So he didn't want to do that, and she got in touch with the police. So this part is so disrespectful, right? She was like, in the investigation, she had to find all of this information, like them professing their love for each other, she talking about his love making. And she also talked about how humiliating it was. And she was like, the worst part, well, for me, I think the worst part is that, like she said, Sabrina knew her. She didn't know Sabrina. And Sabrina would be in places where they were. She said her friends had to remind her that she was at another table with her friends when we were all out to dinner. They laughing, her friends laughing. Like laughing at her. You understand what I'm saying? Like that is so hurtful to know that you got your woman. You can't be with her because you're married. But you got your woman in the restaurant sitting across from you and your wife watching. Now, even though the woman who is watching does not have you at her table, but the fact that you probably going to be in her bed tonight is devastating. That's crazy. So we're on to part 4, and it's titled Sabrina, Cassandra, Latasha, Latoya, Blessed, Esther, Myra, Mimi, Janice, the Pats, Strippers, Jazz, and Danielle, and ABCDEFG. So she said while she was contemplating getting a divorce, she had to go talk to lawyers, and she said she didn't know where anything was. Importantly, know where everything is, ladies. She went on to say that the lawyers told her exactly what she needed to look for, and she did just that. So she was like, as she was finding things, she was like, this was just brutal for her, just going through all of this. She said that it was overwhelming, and she would tell her friends about it, and they would tell her to stop looking because it's just too much. But she had to keep going because she's going through a divorce. She said this was very heartbreaking, right? She says one thing to know they're cheating, but it's another thing to see it. And she was like, all the I love yous and I miss yous and things like that. Child, she said that this was going on through her whole marriage. The whole marriage. Not just Sabrina, but the 24 or 27 years they've been married. She said after she got a hold to the Sabrina, here come Cassandra. Then here come Myra. Then here come Mimi. She said it was like the DMX song. Myra, Cassandra, Letitia, Latoya. Gail said her husband was still being cocky about all this because she called him to let him know how horrible he was. And she was a little scared because she said she didn't know who she actually married. But then with her investigation, y'all, she talked about just the 20 women, which spanned over a 5-year period. And a girl who served her lunch or dinner named Fatima, who he was financing her entire life. What did Gail do? Gail went and put all these women in a group text with his photo and talked about how he messing over all of them. Some of them told her that she need to get over it. Some of them said, you got the wrong number. She said, if I got the wrong number, block me. Let's keep going. So the final part for right now is called I Needed an Umbrella and a Bat. And she talked about how she didn't realize that she could have put them all in a group chat. She said it's more than 20 and it went back 10 years is what she could do. And she said, I know this was absolutely not right. She said she's doing this so she can just help people, right? She was like, because she's not saying don't trust your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend because it goes both ways. She said, but just be careful and don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Y'all, she said that he wouldn't stay there for her surgeries and stuff because he had to leave to go to Dallas to bang the Pats, right? And he slept with other women in her bed in her home. Child, she said she's coming back. She's going to take some time off. But when she comes back, she's going to tell us about Andre. And she said, I don't know no girl's named Andre. What? Bye, y'all.